Welcome to the TGH Newscast. Hope everyone's well. Joining us today for a weekly roundup on the last week's news. How are we, guys?
All good.
Doing great.
Market took a bit of a hit today, but was still above 40k. I feel like as long as we're ranging, maybe we're going to range between that 33 kind of level and that 45k level, and if we even just range between those levels for a few months, then I'd be happy with that. We're still
amazing swing opportunities, I guess.
100%. We're still above.
More time to accumulate before the merge.
Yeah, it's also going to get a lot of weaker hands out of the market. I was just listening to reading Plan C, his tweet before, and he said exactly that. Just get all the weak hands out of the market, get more strength, find more support, and then build off that.
Yep.
You guys know
we've built over the last year. Like, we've built a pretty solid channel over a year's time now.
Yeah.
And pretty good trading all around. I'm not really too worried right now.
100%. That 30k level has held, and it's now become one of the strongest historic levels. It's been tested so many times. We haven't even got back to it, have we? We didn't even get to 30k. We hit 33 and bounced.
True.
So,
slightly higher low.
Like the major players you got in the market right now, for example, Sailor, I think his average is like above 34k or some shit. So whenever it goes lower, he's just going to buy big. And same goes for the Terra guy. Same goes for a bunch of other big whales. They're just waiting to accumulate.
Yeah, not just him, but he's gonna get all his pals to buy it as well. And everyone's gonna, and when people understand that his average, like you said, is around 34k, they're gonna be like, they're gonna snap at the opportunity to get the same average as him, or if not lower.
Front run. Try to front run each other.
Everyone fronts on each other.
Very interesting. So what news have we got this week? Sorry, Keegan.
No, we're good. So rolling into similar with the price, we've seen similar Bitcoin and ETH exchange outflows. We're continuing to make lower lows. Bitcoin not as heavy, but shouldn't be ignored. ETH having pretty significant outflows as more money goes towards ETH2. And that actually rolls right into the next piece of news for where the rest of the ETH is going. And it appears that it's going to layer 2s. We've hit an all-time high for TVL this week with 7.4 billion. We're back a little below 7 billion right now.
Oh, really?
But that's huge. I mean, that's like a top, 25 protocol. It being $7 billion. I mean, that's huge. If you add them all up, I mean, it's definitely spread around. But the fact that it's hit an all-time high in the midst of what appears to be a pretty meh range, we've been crapping pretty heavily. It's good to see that people are taking advantage of the optimized.
What's your guys' take on the ETH outflows to layer 2 protocols? Is it going to hurt ETH itself, or you think it's going to somewhat like stabilize with the outflow and now just staying at that level somewhat?
Good question.
I think it'll keep going down. Like, the outflows will keep continuing. The amount on exchanges will drop and more money will flow to L2s. Additionally, and more money will flow to staking. So there was an interview this last week about the ETH staking ecosystem itself, and it's estimated to be a multi-trillion-dollar ecosystem, because the staking itself offers 10% on the base, and so once that goes live, I mean, that's huge.
Going to outperform pretty much everything you got in the world right now.
It's good to see. I think it'll be a good route going forward. We'll add a whole bunch of notes for places you can track all that stuff, because fees are dropping even lower on L2s across the board. I think everything is under 50 cents. Oh, except for Arbitrum 1. They're at 77 cents right now. But everything else is under 50 cents, which is kind of nuts. So yeah, if you're looking for cheap fees, try L2s. They're worth it. You get your decentralization and your security from ETH. So speaking of all this, interesting news with Chainlink. They're building an inflation index that will be censorship resistant, which is really cool, because the federal CPI values are not really based on public information. You can't really access that info. A lot of the variables are not included that we think should be as of people. And so Chainlink says that, hey, screw it, we're just going to make our own. They will have openly available inflation indexes that will be able to more accurately show inflation at the consumer level. So we're seeing like 7.9 to 8.3% released by the feds, but as we all know, that is not actually really accurate. I can personally attest that it's not accurate.
So what is the accurate sort of range? What's a more accurate figure then? If that
also
is
20,
it's more accurately over 10.
Oh, is it?
In Germany, I think it's like 15%, close to 20, because like they can give you a figure on the inflation, but if you are paying 20% like premium compared to 1 year ago on all the stuff you're buying, the inflation is technically much higher than what they're saying, like 5, 6, 7%, because you're paying 20% premium.
So why aren't they saying it's more? Because they don't want people to panic? Or...
I think that would like cause a lot of panic if they say we got an inflation of 15, 20% this year, maybe next year too. Like you lose half of your purchase power in just 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? So
well, because I mean, they don't also include things like gas prices. They don't include things like, I mean, obviously housing makes sense, but they don't include that. So, you know, the cost of living obviously is going up, but they're not including a lot of these heavy costs.
Cars as well. Cars in the UK.
Everything,
Did cars also go up in the US and Germany in the last 6 months?
Absolutely crazy.
Like 30%. They're up like 30%.
Even used cars are probably pumped by 20-25%.
Yeah.
You can sell like a few-year-old truck now for more than you originally bought it.
Yeah, everyone's
even
doing
though
that.
You used it.
There's a lot of people I know who were selling their cars for more than they bought them for, and then just keeping the cash to one side. But my question is, what if they don't come down again? You're going to have to use that money again just to buy something else that's also inflated. So what do you do? It's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm also on the sideline at the moment, not because I can't afford a car, but because I'm like, if they do come down in 6 months, then you're sort of stuck then, because you're like, you just lost 30% or 25% in like 6 months. Ridiculous.
But then if they don't, then, you know, and inflation keeps running, then you're like, well, shit, now I got
with cars, it's actually a different story. It's like with what it's fucking called, groceries and stuff right now, so that you actually have real supply chain issues. China had some issues with chip production, then some
microchips,
something in Japan burned down like one of the major chip factories or some shit, and now you got part of our Volkswagen cars. They're getting some of their parts from Ukraine, so that's stopped now, and they can produce again. And it's kind of same for groceries. So Russia and Ukraine actually are two of the biggest manufacturers for all that stuff.
Right.
And they can't deliver anything right now.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that in 6 months prices should sort themselves out, but we'll have to see, I suppose.
Either way, take it as it comes.
100%.
There's a few takes from the feds and the banks that we will hear about later, actually. Some big announcements, to be honest. But before that, we have officially reached the 19 millionth Bitcoin mined, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
It's not like nothing actually happened. It's not legitimate news, but it's just kind of cool because we've reached the point where there's only 2 million left to be mined. So the fact that we've been able to produce blocks for over a decade is fairly impressive. At the moment, it should be noted that the decreased issuance long-term is not counterbalanced by fees at the moment. The total fees that go to miners right now are not going to be enough to counterbalance the decreased issuance over time. So we'll see how that plays out long-term. It's not an issue at the moment, but eventually you're going to lose security because you're going to have less money going to miners for said fees, simply because the transactions aren't enough right now. So we'll have to see how that plays out. It's an interesting incentive mechanism that we haven't run into until now. So,
and I was going to ask you, I wonder when the date will be when the last Bitcoin is mined. Someone said about
around
2150.
Oh, is it? Around, like not exactly, but around that time. So we got another 130 years to go.
Jesus! I thought it was way sooner than that.
No,
I must have got it. I must be
time.
out there by 100 years then. I must be. I must have read 2150, and I've said 2050, not realizing.
Drops so low here soon. I mean, well, because once it goes down to 3.125, and then it goes under 1.7, and then under 1 for every block, and at that point you're really decaying fast, and so it'll take a really long time. I mean, theoretically, the price will rise high enough that it will pay off miners' incentives, but we don't
ideally
know. Yeah, that's the ideal situation. So we don't know. But yeah, we'll just have to see. So that is an important milestone though. So 19 million mined Bitcoin this week. Pretty cool.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
In completely unrelated news, but related to crypto, Elon Musk decided to buy 9% of Twitter this week. He bought $2.89 billion of Twitter shares, which
just like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It went up like $800 million in 3 days. So he's made a tad chunk of money, but he has already been
I've actually read that it dumped back because he declined to join their board.
Oh, he did.
Did he?
Oh,
did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh wow!
He
Wow. He also did not declare because I think there's an SEC rule. If you buy more than 5% of a stock, you have to declare it to the SEC, and there has to be a public announcement. And he didn't declare. He bought 9.2 or 9.4.
Yeah. Something on there, yeah.
You just said then. He said 9%, but it's like 9.4. But he didn't declare it, so he just bought it. But I think the way he did it was through different companies, so it didn't look like it was him. People couldn't work out it was him. It's quite naughty, that, isn't it? But as you said then,
I'm curious how that will play out with the SEC.
I was also wondering how he managed to get 10% of a company's share, because that's not easy to achieve in an open market where shareholders, you don't really know them, you can't really get to them. There's not an exchange where you just buy 3 million worth of some share, 3 billion worth.
No,
that's really interesting.
Well, and that buy alone, I mean, you can't buy $3 billion on the open market without pumping it like crazy.
It's not dumped that much. It went up to $50, $51. It's back down now to 46. So I thought it was a much worse sell off than that. But
but 5% on a day for a stock, it's like that massive sell off, but it's definitely a punch in the face for Twitter.
Yeah. So
they said he should come, not has to come, but should come on the board, and he just said, "No, I'm not doing it. Fuck it."
Yeah, he has mentioned he wants to. He's proposed adding Doge as a payment solution. You want to add an edit button.
That's right. Yeah, the edit button. Yeah.
That's actually not too bad.
He in other related similar news, he's doing a lot of other stuff with Bitcoin. He just partnered, Tesla, Block, who used to be Square, and Blockstream have all partnered to create a green Bitcoin mining facility, which is kind of cool. They're going to use solar energy to mine Bitcoin, which is kind of dope. It should be put into perspective that the solar energy will create approximately 3.8 megawatts of power compared to a coal power plant, which is like 600. So relatively speaking, it's not huge, but it's a good
just for the headlines. Yeah,
are they putting on a show? Yeah. So they're just putting on a show, aren't they? Really, it's not really.
It's a slight bit of a show. I'm not sure how much it'll actually be able to mine. I mean, it's less than 0.7% of a coal power plant.
Oh my god!
It. Yeah, so it's kind of a the marketing thing, but at the same time, if it leads into larger scale solar mining, cool.
Guys, just on this energy subject, the UK has gone down the route of solar panels and wind farming, and it's far less productive than France has gone down the nuclear power plant. Now, nuclear is really clean, but obviously there's the danger of a reactor leaking, or there being a natural disaster, or warfare, whatever. But I really think that, why are they going down this solar panel route, this really clean energy? Why don't they just build a nuclear power plant dedicated for this kind of thing?
Politics.
politics.
100% politics.
Good answer, actually. Yeah.
There's no perfect way. You have to have some
there's pros and cons
the
to
thing
every
with
single.
power plants is they obviously leave some of that shit which lasts for thousands of years.
Yeah.
The waste, but on the other hand, your people actually get energy quite cheap and reliable. But with wind and all that shit, you also have to keep in mind that you have to produce these huge fucking wind turbines and all that stuff.
They're eyesores. I mean, you should see the state of them in the UK.
That's the thing. Just producing
everywhere.
those gonna take I don't even know how long to set it
pay off. And just to pay themselves off takes like 10 years.
That's exactly the same with electric cars. You have to drive your electric cars, like 200,000 kilometers or 300,000 kilometers until the production pays off.
Okay. Moving on, we have Robinhood releasing a crypto wallet to some users. This comes with a pretty big asterisk. Not a whole lot of information besides that it will be released to quote unquote select participants.
Wow.
Yeah, so they will
like always.
Like always.
Wales then.
Yeah, I mean they have like 2 million users, and I don't think 2 million users will get to use it. And they say it's only Bitcoin, ETH, Doge, and a few others. So not really huge news, more just a headline, I think.
Yeah. They're so far behind, aren't they? They're so far behind.
They are, yeah. If you have assets on Robinhood, my weekly reminder of this,
just run
them off of Robinhood.
Yeah.
Get them off, yeah.
Just a very straightforward, get them off Robinhood.
Their history of fuck-ups and just straight up shady shit, you should run with your money. Just run.
Yeah. How are they still, after that drama with GameStop, how are they still? Was there a court case where they sued over that? I thought they were going to be closed down.
There was even more shit afterwards, but I think for the average guy who just sees that, just hears some stories about investing into crypto, investing into stocks, making money, and then he's on YouTube or whatever and sees Robinhood, and it's also simple. It's so beginner friendly, and they just get into it. So that's kind of like they're staying on top still.
Love it. It's a good point, that.
Yeah. So in other better news, over 3.7 million people have signed up for the Coinbase NFT waitlist, which is kind of huge. This was found by Croissant ETH on Twitter. 3.7 million is triple the number of people that currently use NFTs. So there is a huge wait list for this. Coinbase, I know they're centralized, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but they are bringing more users into the space, and hopefully that leads them then going beyond Coinbase and creating their own, wallets and becoming self-sovereign. So I think that's pretty cool that people are getting into the space from this. Is
it sort of for like initial NFT offerings, or is it more like OpenSea where you can already buy existing collections?
I was wondering that.
I think it's more like that, where you will be able to actually use their marketplace.
So it's okay.
The access NFTs that Coinbase then offers, and it gives access.
Are you actually allowed as an US citizen to buy, or how do you say, to mint from new collections? Because you got a ton of weird rules where you can participate in ICOs and shit. So I was wondering if you're even allowed to mint collections and then just trade them.
I'm just wondering whether it will replace OpenSea, because OpenSea's had issues, hasn't it, recently? It's quite slow. It's slow, isn't it, as well? It's fairly slow.
Well, the only issue
could be Ethereum, to be honest.
I can use with my wallet personally. Like, I don't have to use Coinbase.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Decentralized is definitely going to win in that sense.
But that NFT tab in the MetaMask wallet is only on your phone, isn't it? On the app. You don't get that on, just so people know, you don't get that app, the NFT option on the desktop version of it.
Yeah, you got to look through other routes to see all your NFTs if you use MetaMask on PC anyways. But I think this news is overall good, just to show that regardless of the market being wishy-washy, there is still a retail demand for
a ton of interest and adoption still being pushed. definitely.
Towards the stablecoin kind of debacles for the week, USDN, which is also known as Neutrino, is the stablecoin for the Waves protocol, and it depegged this week from quite a bit of market FUD. And I'm not really sure if that FUD is substantiated or not. However, it's still depegged. So that fact remains. It dropped all the way to like 78 cents.
Wow.
Yeah, really low. It bounced back to 98.8, but it's not regained the peg. So curious to see what happens there, because Waves has dropped by more than 50% on the week.
Yeah, Waves is really volatile. It always was. Waves always was, but it was always a good asset to trade as well, because when it was at that, I used to always trade Waves. I used to wait for
100% in one day.
Yeah, 99-day moving average or those historic support levels. Just wait for them to come.
Ironically, Waves traded in Waves.
Yeah, it moves really fast. It's a great asset to trade. It still is.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this peg holds up.
Yeah, that was kind of scary news, to be honest. Not only because my stablecoin depeg PTSD with, what was it, iron and malt.
Iron and malt.
Wild nights. But yeah, it's overall, it's quite a scary scenario, and it's the reason why I'm also trying to keep different stablecoins. So I'm trying to have BUSD, USDC, and USDT, because you never know what's going to happen. Even if it like depegs by 10% of your money is gone.
Love it. You're right. What about DAI? Is DAI a good one to also look at?
So far, it's good.
Yeah, so far it's good.
They're all good until they're not.
It's in the argument between UST or DAI. UST is officially larger than DAI right now. It's kind of like there's a war going on, supposedly. Do Kwon has declared war against DAI, which I find fascinating.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. On that subject, actually, Do Kwon and Luna announced that they're adding AVAX to their UST collateral. The Luna Foundation basically purchased $100 million of AVAX.
Wow.
And are now using that to also collateralize their UST on top of
interesting.
Yeah,
very. I think they've also added another $180 million yesterday in Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yes. Yeah. They've officially surpassed 40,000 Bitcoin, which is kind of
solid number.
Yeah.
It's a very
fortunately
amount. Yeah, and I don't think that I'm qualified to make a statement on whether or not Luna will succeed in this experiment, I guess you'd say. But there's a lot of good debates out there and podcasts that actually dive in for like hours on this. So if you want to learn more, I recommend it. But it's a multi-hour debate of what's going to happen, because we don't know.
You can stay awake for that long.
Yeah,
it is one of them, isn't it? Like, I sometimes watch some of these podcasts on the more technical stuff, and 15-20 minutes I'm with it, and then I'm just like, fuck, I'm going to sleep. Yeah,
so into some alt news. We've got some good stuff for the week. Wilder Worlds released their official game trailer, which is awesome. It was really good. Released an Unreal 5 engine. And they actually shot it in the Unreal 5 engine, which is just incredible. They released it, I don't know, a few days back. So if you want to check it on Twitter, definitely do that. We're super excited for their game release.
Wilder Worlds graphics are amazing, aren't they? It's one of the best looking games, isn't it? Along with Gold Fever, and it's actually held up quite well as well, price wise. It always, going back to that whole historic support level, it seems to be holding. A support,
pretty good historical support, which is
does quite well. Yeah, it does quite well, and they got some massive backers as well, didn't they? Recently, we covered this the other week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
definitely going places.
Yeah.
So speaking in other good alt news, Ventop had their first IDO for Bounty Hunter. Pretty fantastic IDO for them. They sold out in less than an hour, and they already went live, on April 8th, which is great. They have only just started, 3 days ago. And so if you're looking to get in a floor, that's actually a pretty good protocol to look into, Bounty Hunter. And they're going to have their new IDO here soon again. They already have a few in the works, so they're going to roll out with the next one here pretty soon. So congratulations on the first one, William. So moving on, we have the Hustle NFT Marketplace version 2 officially live. Their land sale was successful 2 weeks back, and now they have released their new marketplace. And so you can actually trade that land now, which is super cool. So it's sitting above floor. I don't remember. I'd have to check it. But you can also mint your own music NFTs now and trade those as well. So I think the music NFT space will be pretty huge. So I think that's a great release for them.
Hustle did break through the resistance level. It did pump quite nice, but then it's broke back through that support. It didn't hold support, and now it's just kind of ranging back in between. It's a shame because it was in that accumulation range for so long, and we were anticipating. But obviously, with the land sale, it brought a lot of exposure, a lot of new buyers. But it's a long-term thing, isn't it? Oh, I think the market also affected a lot of
market definitely.
Sorry guys, I forgot all about. I'm not actually I'm not watching the market like every single 5 minutes. But someone did point out, I think it was you, Panda, on how a couple of most alts retraced, and I was and I didn't even see the market had retraced, and the market does sadly cause a lot of fear, doesn't it, in people and. They just dump their bags and run, and it's a shame because most of the time people lose out, don't they? It's the fear. It's the fear again, and then they buy back in higher. It's like you do it a few times and then you learn, don't you?
Well, some do, some don't, as we know from our own community. Shout out to Rogan.
No names mentioned. Rogan.
No.
Hopefully he's watching this. Yeah, actually, he's learned. He's
gotten better.
He was trading something last week and he messaged me saying, I took profits.
Good.
Like,
good for you, bro.
Thank God.
Learn from your mistakes.
I know, 100%. Great point there, Keegan.
You can make your mistakes, just learn from them. That's all.
Mistakes are good, aren't they? Yeah. Mistakes are good, just learn from them.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, don't blame anyone else. Hold yourself accountable for your mistakes.
Great point there. It's a great point, Indiana.
Yeah. All right, so moving on towards our probably biggest winner of recent, like the last month, Steppen decided to go on the run of all runs, being quote unquote called a unicorn, because it went from 10 million market cap to over $1 billion in less than a month.
Oh my God.
Which is just, that's stupid. I don't even know. That is ridiculous.
But I mean, seeing their revenue, or not actually revenue, but
insane.
How much did they make? 27 million, which they just bought back and burned. Like, how much of dedication does that show to you, that the team just takes the revenue, 27 million, we buy off the market, and we completely burn that shit?
Yep.
So they know they're here to stay. They could have just kept the money. I don't know, like most projects, buy a new house, buy a fucking Lambo.
Yeah.
And what you just said then is a great point, actually, because what a lot of projects do, especially a lot of low caps, is their aim is just to make money. So once they make the money, they lose interest. Once they get those yachts, those supercars, they're done. That was the only reason why they were there in the first place.
But they literally threw the money back in.
It's super important to see that. And you know what, guys? It's a good buy sign, but I wouldn't buy it here right now. It's just way too pumped, isn't it? I'd wait for a retrace. Actually, I've not even looked at the chart, to be fair, guys. But
what's wild is it started its own fork category. It got so much hype.
And even the fucking forks are trending.
Yeah, the forks are trending. They're all shooting up by like 10, 15x.
Even a lot of the old fitness apps like D-Fit that didn't get any attention whatsoever. They pumped. They pumped. But you know what's funny? They pumped a couple of days before the market dumped, and then they all dumped with the market.
Oh,
shit. Seriously.
And then Steppen pumped today.
But it did.
Yeah, they did, because they have an NFT sale on Binance on the 13th. So they're continuing their rampage through the market and just ignoring dips.
Just unbelievable.
If you want to earn some money on that note and get fit at the same time, definitely get their app and grab a pair of sneakers off that Binance sale. and then you can actually make easily couple $100 per week or so just by walking around doing what you always do. Just keep the app on and
Love it.
just walk around.
Glad you mentioned that actually, Panda, because there are people out there literally just walking around doing 6, 7, 8 miles, and they're making like $100 a day just walking around. It's not even far, is it?
It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
I just don't understand why a lot of the scammers in crypto just don't go and buy some sneakers from Steppen and go fucking walking rather than scam people. It's like, just go fucking walking for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Trying to scam people on Telegram and Discord. Go buy some sneakers from Steppen, put the fuckers on, go walking. That way at least you're getting fit. Well, most of them are fucking like that, aren't they?
I seen Lady Crypto tweeted that she's making like $30-$40 a day or something just walking her dog, and then anything else on top is extra. Like, it's just madness.
Unbelievable. It's a wage, that, isn't it? You
live off that. Some people, it's a wage.
In a first world country, it's a wage.
Yeah, I mean, in the Philippines, maybe that's Thailand. I'm not sure. Like, that's a lot of money, isn't it?
If you make $100 per day, even here in Germany, that's a fucking wage. A pretty good one.
True.
Like 3K per month, just walking around.
And going back to the whole.
Not saying you should buy those sneakers and quit your job or some shit, because we don't know if it stays up. Just saying, because some people are like that.
Don't just randomly go all in on this.
Well, guys, it goes back, doesn't it?
Recommendation.
Yeah, it goes back to when people make millions off NFTs and they're trying to explain to their normie friends, I just bought this JPEG. And like, imagine trying to explain to your normie friends, like, my job's just...
This picture right here.
My job's just walking around. I just walk around,
Well, I'm not going to mention what I do, but in my job, it actually involves a lot of walking about. So I don't know why I'm not just turning it on while I'm at work. Like,
I'll sell you a pair of sneakers if you want. I'll sell you a pair of sneakers. I've got a pair there. Guys, the problem is, I bought a pair of sneakers. $1,200 I spent on a pair of fucking sneakers for Steppen. I wanted
also actually level them up, and they get even more expensive.
Yeah, but my issue is I keep, first of all, forgetting to turn the app on. And second of all, it drains my battery so bad that, I only get so far and my phone just dies. And it's like, so my only concern with it is it does drain your battery so bad. So someone said you should buy a bank, a charger, a couple of banks, and have them in your pockets.
You shouldn't have to do that, though,
fucking backpack. I know, that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't have to do that, should you?
It's probably similar to Pokemon Go, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
Where it keeps tracking your like where you at right now and all your shit you're moving around and stuff. Probably not that excessive when it comes to battery life, because Pokemon Go was completely killing your battery. You had to keep it on all the time and throw the ball and shit. But probably somewhere in that area.
But they are adding a load of new things to the app, so it's still in its initial stages.
Yeah.
There's so much more to come, so that's why I'm keeping
it's here at the initial stages.
Yeah,
that's why I'm keeping my sneakers, but I need to use the app more.
So for the very last piece of news, we have Compete for the week has officially let anyone with over 8 million tokens try out their alpha. Which is super cool. We've had some people in Telegram pop in and like they've played against Justin and Tailwhiter and a few of the other. They've actually been playing. They were racing carts here, I think, yesterday. And they've had a few people actually trying out the game and playing the alpha, which is pretty sick.
Amazing.
Quite skeptical, weren't we, at first about how good it looked? It was too good to be true, wasn't it? It felt too good to be true.
Yeah,
so I'm really happy.
I love to see it though.
Definitely.
True. I love to see it. I love to see people making money. Loads of our guys got in really early with Compete. Indiana obviously brought that one to our attention, and it's done really well, hasn't it?
Yeah, excited for when they open it up more to anyone with less tokens, because I definitely do not have 8 million tokens. I don't have that much money.
I think the price from where we called it, I think it was 0.2 where we called it. No, it's 0.02, and it's gone to 0.156. It's almost times a times 10, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah, close to 10x.
Almost 10x. So
A
congratulations. I think most of our community got in around the same sort of price. But yeah, either way, congratulations to anyone who's made bank on that.
Well done, guys. Plus, you'll get to play the game soon.
Yeah.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
So, and I'm actually excited to play that one because it looks pretty good.
Yeah, there's not many metaverse games that are actually good, is there? I think what most of them do is base the project around the token and the economy, and don't actually build a functioning, attractive game that is enjoyable to play. I think most of the projects are just once again just out for making money, aren't they? So
yeah.
It's
build
nice,
the token, and then just build like a game around it versus building a game and then adding a token in.
Exactly, and what Compete are doing is the complete opposite. They're focusing all their effort on the game and building the economy around it. I want to see more projects like that. Wilder World are also focusing all their efforts, aren't they, on building Gold Fever. Gold Fever, what happened with that? Is that still
waiting?
They're still working hard on a project. You can see they have also, I think, a closed beta right now, or it's actually a closed alpha, I think.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah,
they are pretty early, but you can see the testing going on. You can see snippets of the bugs. They are pretty funny on their Twitter. Whenever there's a funny bug, they're posting it and making fun of it. Obviously, trying to fix it, but yeah, with a game like this, it's not easy, and it's going to take a lot of time, obviously.
Yeah, good point there. They do take a lot of time, don't they? It doesn't happen overnight. I think we have to have patience, don't we, and understand that they do take a long time.
Well, not a lot of the big games that we normally play on like Xbox and PS4 or PS5, whatever, and like PC, they took years to build.
And they get a funding of, I don't even know, 100 million or whatever.
But here's something else. Here's something else I want to know. Are the guys building games in crypto as professional and as technical and educated as the people building games for Activision or Blizzard or etc., or are they more just developers kind of moving into the gaming?
Depends on the protocol.
Yeah, I suppose I suppose you can't say, can you? But I mean in
like
a general...
Wild Worlds, for example, they had huge like previous game builders come in as an example, but like not every game is going to have that. You're going to have new developers come in, but there are some big developers from the previous gaming space that have moved into the crypto gaming space, I guess you could say.
Love it.
It's pretty cool. I like to see it.
Great stuff, guys. Well, that's a great week. Some good rundowns there, and hopefully the market stays stable. Hopefully, see a lot of people now. Lot of fear out there, and I think
just a little bit.
Stay calm, people. Stay calm.
Amazing.
Enjoy the sun. If you're in Europe, we are finally getting some nice sun. So get out, enjoy.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's during when the market is tanking now, and alts are all tanking. Get out. Enjoy life, and then
don't stare at the charts all day.
Yeah,
just, relax.
Yeah. Live to the market, isn't it? Like, I think a lot of people who were most successful in crypto learnt to take those rough days by just taking a break, on those maybe it'll be for a few days or whatever, or be more casual. I mean, there's not been a single day where I've not been here in over 5 years, but there's been days where I've been way more casual when the market is like it is now. I just bit of a step back, and then once it starts recovering, maybe it'll be later this week. Not talking long, are we?
Yeah. It flips on a dime. Let's be real.
Yeah,
it flips on a dime this morning.
Yeah, 100%. It could be pumping again tomorrow, but yeah, we'll have to see, guys. But yeah, great week, great episode. Cheers, guys. Catch you next week.
Bye-bye.